Hello. Council tax, liability orders, and full council question. Here is a question I asked at my full council, and others have gone on to ask at different councils. And I would encourage all councillors and members of the public to do the same. Anyone who is taken to court for an alleged debt would expect to receive an original court-sealed and signed liability order from a magistrate's court, and not just a notification sent from the council. It costs the same price to send out a proper court-sealed liability order. Could it be because the council does not have a liability order to send? It goes without saying that this matter clearly affects an increasing number of people who are becoming aware that a transparent due process operating between the council and magistrates' court does not appear to exist, resembling an in-house system. We must ask ourselves if a complaint is even laid before a justice of the peace in a magistrates' court, or is it a list of names forwarded to the clerk, to the justices, who could be out playing golf? When one approaches the council, they are directed to the magistrates' court for a liability order, or vice versa. Nor do the civil procedure rules seem to apply. Yet the criminal procedure rules are applied in their place to obtain an uncourt-sealed summons by the council, when it is in fact a civil matter, not a criminal matter. The summonses are also not court-sealed by the magistrates' court. Why are the summonses and the liability orders not required to be sealed by a court? And why is your name and the name and position of the person who signed the liability order not on the face of the order? An order without a court seal would be invalid and fatal at law. So what jurisdiction and law form are they using? Is the council aware that Section 3 of the Council Tax Administration and Enforcement Act states the following: the amount in respect of which a liability order is made is enforceable in accordance with this part, and accordingly, for the purpose of any of the provisions of Part 3 of the Magistrates' Court Act 1980, satisfaction and enforcement. It is not to be treated as a sum adjudged to be paid by order of the court. So, if it is not a sum to be adjudged to be paid by order of the magistrates' court, is this why the liability orders cannot be enforced in the magistrates' court? Then why are the county courts referring to and treating the liability orders as being an adjudged sum to be paid by order of the court, and using them to place charging orders on homes and unlawfully bankrupting people, even those that have reduced the level below the threshold for bankruptcy? If you query this with the county court judge, they will say you are reading it wrong and move on regardless. This is called railroading, to grant an order in favour of the council. Remember, you will never get a copy of the liability order from the magistrates' court, even if you put into the Ministry of Justice for a subject access request, and the staff, just like the county court staff, will simply hide up. Although, if you are persistent, the council or their solicitor's agent may pass you the council's knock-up that looks like it was printed off their computer which of course it was. Does the council have a transparency policy on council tax enforcement? And do they follow due process to obtain and provide a properly constituted magistrates court sealed liability order for the people who the council allege owe council tax? And is this sum adjudged to be by order of the magistrates court? We know the answer to this already. No, they do not. Their idea of transparency is secrecy and deception. You may find, if you show a copy of the liability order from the council to a clerk of the High Court, that they may laugh and say that they would not pay it either, because it does not conform to any order they have ever seen. How many elected councillors have inspected these council computer printout liability orders? And more importantly, what have they done about it? Finally, be polite and thank them for their forthcoming participation in this debate and obtaining transparency of due process in the name of what is equitable, fair, just and right. Of course, no answers will be forthcoming from the council or councillors, and your question might not even be minuted properly. Is this because the truth may affect them and be in our favour for once and not theirs? What does this top-up council tax pay for, apart from other people's pensions? Central government already fund local services from your taxes. Is this the real reason why councils are contracting out services so they can charge for them? Do the council understand what is equitable, fair, just and right? We can tell them, the council and courts, using unlawfully bankruptcy by trickery and deceptive means, while councillors turn a blind eye for their allowances, is not fair, just or right.